Hello friends, myself Professor Prashant Mahajan, working as an assistant professor at AISSMS Institute of Information Technology. So we have started a lecture series on fuels, and in the last lecture we have discussed solid fuels and proximate analysis of coal. Today we are going to discuss ultimate analysis of coal. So what is ultimate analysis? So ultimate analysis means to determine the percentage of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and ash content present in a coal sample, that is called as proximate anal sorry ultimate analysis. So you can see here, so definition is there: the analysis of coal in which percentage of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen elements are found out is known as ultimate analysis. So you can determine the percentage elements present in the coal by, that is, percentage carbon and percentage hydrogen by combustion method, then percentage nitrogen by Jaldal's method, percentage sulfur by Ishqa's method, percentage as in the proximate analysis, and percentage oxygen, that will be 100 minus remaining all. So that will be percentage oxygen. So first, percent carbon and percent hydrogen by combustion method. So what is the importance of percent carbon? So percentage of carbon helps in designing the furnace and shape of the firebox because it is fixed carbon that burns in the solid state. So carbon and hydrogen we are going to see. So what you have to do? You have to take a known weight of a coal sample, is taken in a combustion tube and is burned in excess of pure oxygen. So coal is containing carbon and hydrogen. So what happens? That carbon and hydrogen on combustion is going to be converted into carbon dioxide and water vapors. So this is carbon present in the coal, that will be converted to carbon dioxide. This is hydrogen, it will be converted to the H2O. So this is your diagram, or this is called as combustion apparatus. So you can see here, this is a substance which is on the porcelain boat. You have to supply pure dry oxygen in the excess quantity. Then this is copper oxide. You have to ignite that substance in the presence of excess oxygen. So it will be converted, that is, carbon is going to convert into carbon dioxide and hydrogen is going to convert it into water. Then you have to pass that water and carbon dioxide from two U-shaped tube, one containing anhydrous CaCl2 or Mg per chlorate, and second is containing KOH solution. So what happened? This is anhydrous CaCl2 that will absorb water vapors, and this KOH will react with CO2. So you can see the reaction. So carbon dioxide will react with KOH and it will give you potassium carbonate and water. Similarly, calcium carbonate will absorb water and it will produce CaCl2.7H2O. So means what? The carbon dioxide produced is react with KOH and that will increase the weight of KOH tube. Similarly, the water vapor formed here, that will increase the weight of the CaCl2 tube, and that will be the weight due to carbon and hydrogen. So you can see the moisture and carbon dioxide liberated by heating the coal sample are absorbed by pre-weighed anhydrous CaCl2 and KOH placed in U-tubes. Increase in weight in each case is recorded. So these are the formulas. So carbon plus oxygen will give you carbon dioxide. That is 12 gram of carbon will produce 44 gram of the carbon dioxide. So directly you can see the formula. Percentage carbon is equal to 12 by 44 into weight of CO2 formed divided by weight of coal into 100. So what you have to do? This is constant. This will not going to be changed. 12 will be same, 44 will be same, 100 will be the same. You have to just find out that weight of CO2 and weight of the coal from the numerical. Similarly, second formula will be hydrogen. So 2 grams of hydrogen will give you 18 grams of water. So the formula will be percentage hydrogen is equal to 2 by 18 into weight of H2O divided by weight of coal into 100. So this is like same like this one. So here is carbon dioxide. So in the second formula there will be H2O. Here is 12, that is weight of carbon, and here is 4, T4, 44, that is weight of carbon dioxide. So similarly 2 is the weight of hydrogen, H2, and H2O it is 18. So both are the formula same. So you have to solve that. So this is one formula, these are the second formula. So you can see, you can directly write weight of the CO2 form, or you can write increase in the weight of KOH2. Both are same. This is one and this is second. So both formulas are same. Similarly, weight of H2O form, or you can use increase in the weight of CaCl2 So depend what is given in the numerical, then you can calculate. So that is, so you can see the numerical and you will get that idea. So first numerical, 0.25 gram of a coal sample on burning in a combustion chamber in the current of pure oxygen was found to increase of CaCl2 by 0.08 gram. Hence, percentage hydrogen present in the coal is. So you can see 0.25 gram of coal is given. So you can take it as weight of the coal. And then was found to increase of CaCl2 by 0.08 gram. So you can take directly 0.08 here divided by 0.25 into 2 into 100 divided by 18. You will get the answer directly. For carbon, you can see the numerical 2.02 gram of the coal is burned in a combustion tube. On passing, the O2 increases the weight of KOH2 by 5.88 gram. Hence, percentage carbon present in the coal is. So here is KOH2 weight increase is given. So you use this first formula, that is increase in the weight of KOH into 12 into 100 divided by weight of coal into 44. So weight of coal it is given. So weight of coal is 2.02 and weight of increase in the weight of KOH2 is given, that is 5.88. So you can put the value and you can calculate the answer. So that is the percentage carbon and percentage hydrogen by combustion method. Next is percentage nitrogen by Jalda's method. So this is a Jalda's flask. In that, what you are going to do, you are going to take coal sample plus concentrate H2SO4 plus potassium sulfate. So crystals of potassium sulfate is taken. So you have to heat that sample till you get colorless solution. So that colorless solution is of ammonium sulfate. You have to add or you have to transfer that clear solution into this flask along with alkali. So I am repeating, coal sample containing nitrogen is heated with H2SO4 plus K2SO4 crystal. Upon heating, that will give you clear solution, that is of ammonium sulfate. You have to transfer that clear solution into this flask and you have to add alkali in the ammonium sulfate. You have to heat that. So you are going to heat and ammonia is liberated, and that ammonia is passed into the standard acid solution. So same procedure is given above. So nitrogen containing coal sample heated with H2SO4 and K2SO4, ammonium sulfate will form, which is clear solution. Then transfer this clear solution into this round bottom flask. Mix that ammonium sulfate with alkali, heat that, NH3 will produce, and that NH3 you have to pass into the standard acid solution. So this is the procedure for Jalda's method. Then unused acid is then determined by titrating with NaOH from the volume of acid used by NH3 liberated. The percentage of nitrogen can be calculated. The volume of NaOH required is same as the volume of acid, unreacted acid in the conical flask. Thus, volume of acid can be determined. Mass of a coal is in grams. V2 ml is blank titration reading. V1 ml is back titration reading. And volume of acid obtained or volume of acid consumed by NH3 is V2 minus V1. So the formula will come percentage nitrogen is equal to volume of acid consumed into normality into 1.4 into weight of the coal sample. So what is V1 and what is V2? So you can see here V1 is after reacting this ammonia with acid solution, some part of acid is remaining, that is called as back acid or remaining acid. So you have to titrate this back acid or remaining acid with NaOH solution. So that will give you V1 reading, and you have to take simply acid base titration, that is blank. So back means after reaction of ammonia and acid, that remaining acid will react with again NaOH, and that will be back reading. And blank means NaOH reaction with acid, that is called as simply. So in this case there is ammonia, in this case there is no ammonia. So you can see the numerical and you can solve it. So 1 gram of a coal sample in Jaldal's experiment liberated ammonia which was absorbed by 50 ml H2SO4. So this is the procedure. Then the resultant solution required 14 ml of 0.1 normal NaOH. So ammonia is dissolved in 50 ml H2SO4. Now we required V1, that is ml of NaOH solution. So 14 ml of 0.1 normal NaOH solution is required. So that is V1 for the complete neutralization of H2SO4 in back titration. The reading of blank titration was 25, hence the percentage nitrogen in the coal was. So volume of acid consumed is V2 minus V1, that is blank minus back. So that is 25 minus 14. Here the answer will be 11 into normality of base is 0.1 into 1.4 divided by weight of coal is 1 gram. So by putting the values you can calculate directly the answer. So that will be the percentage nitrogen. Then next is percentage sulfur by Ishka method. So you can see, so when we are going to combust the coal sample in the warm calorimeter, that sulfur present in the coal first convert into sulfur dioxide, and if more oxygen or excess oxygen is present, then that sulfur dioxide is going to convert into sulfur trioxide. You can see here sulfur is going to convert into sulfur dioxide. If excess oxygen is present, it will convert to the sulfur trioxide. Then we are going to wash that warm calorimeter with water. So that sulfur trioxide is going to convert into sulfuric acid, and then we are going to react that sulfuric acid with barium chloride. It will produce barium sulfate precipitate. Then we have to filter that, we have to dry that, and we are going to weigh that. Means what? Indirectly that sulfur is going to convert into barium sulfate. That means 32 gram of sulfur is going to convert into 233 gram of barium sulfate. So formula will be like that. Percentage sulfur is equal to 32 by 233, that is molecular weight of sulfur divided by molecular weight of barium sulfate into weight of barium sulfate precipitate divided by weight of coal sample into 100. So that is the formula like percentage carbon and percentage sulfur. So you can see the numerical 0.55 gram of coal sample combusted in a bomb calorimeter. On combustion the solution form the bomb. On treatment with barium chloride forms 0.025 gram of barium sulfate. The percentage of sulfur in the coal is. So you're given in the formula 32 by 233 into 100, so that will be constant. You have to just search for weight of barium sulfate and weight of coal. So 0.55 it is the weight of the coal, you have to place it here, and 0.025 it is the weight of the barium sulfate, you have to place here. Upon putting the value you will get the final answer. So that is percentage sulfur by Ishka method. Next is percentage oxygen and percentage sulfur. So percentage oxygen and percentage ash. So percentage ash is determined by proximate analysis, so that you know very well. So you have to ignite that coal sample at 750 degrees Celsius for half hour without lid or without covering, and you will get ash content that we have already seen in the percentage ash. And remaining is percentage oxygen, that will be found out by 100 minus in bracket percentage carbon, percentage hydrogen, percentage sulfur, percentage nitrogen, and percentage ash. So 100 minus total of remaining all, that will be percentage oxygen. Next is significance of ultimate analysis. So significance means what should be high and what should be low. So you can see carbon, greater the percentage of carbon in a coal, better is the quality on coal and calorific value. Hydrogen and oxygen present mainly in the form of moisture. Moisture decreases calorific value, and therefore percentage hydrogen and percentage oxygen should be minimum. Nitrogen does not burn during combustion of coal, so there is no contribution to the calorific value. Next is sulfur, that increases calorific value of coal, but it causes sulfur dioxide and it will causes pollution. Then acid rain, that will be corrode metallic equipment. Hence, lower the percentage of sulfur in the coal, better is the quality of coal. And last is ash, that will reduce calorific value of coal and its disposal problem is there. So that is significance. So carbon should be high because of calorific value. Hydrogen, oxygen will be in the form of moisture, so that will decrease calorific value, so it should be low. Nitrogen does not contribute to the calorific value. Sulfur increases the calorific value but creates the SO2, and that will create pollution, that will create acid rain, and that will corrode metallic equipment, so that will be low. And last is ash, that will reduce calorific value. So, and second is its disposal problem is there, so ash content should be low. So that's it about ultimate analysis and significance of ultimate analysis. Thank you.